أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، نشكره على آلائه ونعمائه، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، إلها أحدا فردا صمدا قيوما، لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ونبيك وحبيبك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك. اللهم وصل على أخيه وخليفته إمام المتقين ويعسوب المسلمين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلواتك عليه. اللهم وصل على البضعة الطاهرة الصديقة الكبرى فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. اللهم وصل على سبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. اللهم وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة القائم المهدي، عجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهل مخرجه وجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه والمستشهدين بين يديه. اللهم صل على محمد. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل. In the upcoming days, we shall be celebrating the birth of one of the heroes of Islam, one of the shining stars of the Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them. That is Lady Zaynab alayha salam. This amazing role model who has so many lessons to teach us, to teach humanity. One of the very important lessons that we can learn from the life of Zaynab alayhi salam is a lesson that is very applicable today. It's a lesson that we, the Muslim community here in the West, we are in a great need of implementing. Zaynab alayhi salam, when you look at her life and her contributions, her achievements after Karbala, it tells you why Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam took the woman and the children with him on this treacherous, dangerous journey. Have you ever wondered if this great Imam is setting out on this journey knowing there will be danger, knowing that the people will betray him and that they will fight him? Why would he bring the women and children with him? Who does that? When you go to a dangerous place, do you take the women and children with you? Why did the Imam alayhi salam do that? For a number of reasons. The first reason was to demonstrate his sincerity and that he's sacrificing purely for the sake of God, not to achieve power. You know, Charles Dickens, interestingly, he has a wonderful quote in which he says, why did Hussein take the women and children with him? Was it to achieve power? To achieve a political status? He says no. Hussein took the women and children because he purely sacrificed for Islam. Because when you take your own women and children with you, you're sending a powerful message that I'm not here for a position, for money, for power. I'm here for a noble goal. That's one reason why he took them. The second most important reason why the Imam alayhi salam took Lady Zaynab and those women and children was because the Imam knew very well that first of all the men will be killed at Karbala, and that Yazid and his propaganda machine, his evil media will distort the reality. So he brought those women and children to represent the media of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They would tell the world what happened there. They would expose the tyrants. The Imam alayhi salam took those women with him because they would be his media. And that is a great lesson, brothers and sisters, that we learn from Lady Zaynab alayhi salam. This amazing woman, through the powerful tools of media, she exposed the tyrants. She supported the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Had it not been for her efforts, the world would not have known exactly what happened at Karbala. She exposed the tyrants of her time, and this is a wonderful lesson we can learn from her as we are celebrating the birth of this amazing shining star of Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them. Look at our society today, brothers and sisters. See how the media is shaping public opinion. How is the media representing our faith? How is the media representing the Muslim community? If you look at just sheer statistics, numbers, you'll see that most Americans, according to some polls, some 50 to 55% of Americans, they harbor negative views on Islam and Muslims. That's very tragic. When half of the population of your country, when half of your fellow citizens view you negatively, that's alarming. That suggests that we're not doing enough to voice our concerns. The others are not aware about what we represent, our identity, our values, about the pristine teachings of our faith. It's truly tragic. According to some surveys and polls, you'll find that Muslims are the most misrepresented group in the media. And the fellow citizens of our society, the most religious group that they view negatively, very close to the atheists, are Muslims. They view Muslims and atheists with the same lens. That's how unfavorable the views of Americans are. This shows us that we have a great responsibility, brothers and sisters, in changing that. The people in our society do not know the facts. They lack the basic facts. They don't know anything about the religion of Islam. Even those reporters, right, who act as if they're experts and they know all about Islam, believe me, they know nothing about Islam. Even basic things like Sharia law, you think they know what it is? They keep talking about it. They want to ban it from being implemented in America, but they have no clue what Sharia law is. You know, there was a state legislator, state senator from Alabama. Years ago, he tried to push for anti-Sharia legislation. Let's ban Sharia in the United States. One reporter asked him in a news conference, news release, he asked him, can you tell us what is Sharia that you're talking about? You know what he said? He said, I apologize, I don't have my files in front of me. He's pushing for anti-Sharia legislation and he has no clue what Sharia is. That's the reality. There's so much ignorance. They don't even know what Sharia is. Most of you remember when Terry Jones came here, right? And he had come to protest Sharia in the Quran. And for those of you who watched that clip, you know, in the media, where my respected father asked him, he told him, why did you come here to Dearborn? Why are you protesting? He's like, I'm here to protest Sharia in the Quran. My father asked him, okay, can you tell us about Sharia in the Quran? What aspect of Sharia are you protesting? He's like, I'm here to protest stoning people to death. My father told him, if that's the reason why you came here, let me break it to you. The Quran does not mention stoning people to death. That's mentioned in the Bible. The Bible, in 16 instances, it prescribes stoning to death for certain violators. That's in the Bible. 16 types of people who've committed violations deserve the stoning according to the Old Testament. That's in the Bible, that's not in the Quran. And these people don't understand these basic facts. They've been brainwashed to think that the greatest threat threatening American society today is the religion of Islam. If you ask just, an average American who doesn't know what's going on, What's the biggest threat today? Many of them think it's Islam, it's Muslims, it's these terrorists. They're killing us by the second. They don't even know the numbers. If we only just show them the facts and the numbers. From 2005 to 2015, how many Americans here in America were killed by so-called Muslim terrorists? And I say so-called because they're not really Muslim. How many? 24. That's not to underestimate that. Every life is sacred. But 24. Compare that with this. In the same decade, from 2005 to 2015, 301,797 Americans were killed because of gun violence. Where's the real threat? And those politicians who think they're really trying to keep America safe, have they looked at these facts? Do they care? Are they genuine? Where's the real threat? And day after day, you see them, they want to loosen, gun control policies. And even people who may have had psychological problems, it's okay, let's sell them guns. You want to keep America safe that way? 24 versus 300,000, you do the math. But brothers and sisters, people don't know this in our society. They're not aware of this. We have a very important responsibility. According to a survey that was done by students from Georgia State University, they wanted to see how does the media portray certain terrorists and criminals. They realized that when a perpetrator of a crime was a Muslim, the media would give that incident 449% more coverage than if this person was not a Muslim. 449% more coverage if the perpetrator was simply Muslim. So we see that the media is misrepresenting the religion of Islam. And many Americans think that the most violent religion that inspires its followers to commit acts of violence is the religion of Islam. Let us learn this lesson from Lady Zaynab alayhi salam. Now when it comes to our role in the media, brothers and sisters, I know many of you think, look, CNN, Fox News, these big news corporations, they're funded by the millions and billions. Fox News, the company that owns it, Fox Entertainment, their revenue is just 13 billion. Their profits were 4 billion. And we don't have that much money. We don't have these resources. We just cannot do anything. Well, when you look at how the media has evolved in our modern day society, it really does not require millions and billions for us to voice our concerns. Today, with the social media that we have, the social media is a powerful tool to dispel many of these misconceptions. A few years ago, last year or the year before that, there was an interview with Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. He said initially the objective of Facebook was to connect you with friends and family. But then we developed a new objective. And that's to give voice to the average citizen, to the average person, to give you a voice, to give you a platform. And this is a tool at our disposal, brothers and sisters. It is an obligation, an Islamic obligation, to use these tools to represent ourselves, to reject the Islamophobia that we see in our society. This is how we protect our community. This is how we protect our future and the future of our children. If we're not going to do that, who will? We have these tools. It requires efforts, interest, a little bit of creativity, and there are many ways for us to have an impact on the media. Start from social networking. All of our youth, alhamdulillah, these days, we're very active on social networking. Whether it's sites like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, anything else, Instagram, Snapchat, we're very active on these. You can use these tools to defend your identity, to defend your faith, and it's highly effective. One thing that I would like to see in our community is that a group of people, professionals, students from different backgrounds, let's get together and see how we can use the concept of targeted ads to advance our cause, to represent our faith. Just to give you a few quick examples, You know, on Facebook, you have that news feed, right? Well, whenever you visit someone's news feed, you know, you're going to see a few compelling ads along the way. That's one thing we can use. Let's get together, come up with, you know, catchy titles. Let's come up with words that would attract the viewer, and let's represent the religion of Islam. Let's make companies, let's, you know, make websites, develop websites that just tell the average American what Islam is all about. And it could be very simple. And we have to flood social media through these ways, brothers and sisters. For example, on LinkedIn, you have those, you know, updates, right? In those updates, you can advertise. You can advertise for your company, you can advertise for your cause. If there's a slogan that you can work on, make it well recognized. This has a big, big impact. Domestically, we have many issues we're dealing with. Internationally, brothers and sisters, we have an obligation to defend our brothers and sisters who are suffering every single day. The hadith from the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. He says, "Man asbaha wa la yahtammu bi umur al-muslimin, falaysa bi-muslim." These are not my words. The words of your prophet, our prophet. He says, if you wake up in the morning and you find yourself indifferent, I don't care about other Muslims, I'm not concerned about other Muslims around the world, the Prophet says this person is not a real Muslim. This person is not a genuine Muslim. We have to show concern, and we have to be creative. You know, if we want to defend our brothers and sisters who are suffering every day, whether in Yemen, whether in Syria, whether in Iraq, just a few days ago, there were multiple suicide attacks. Tens of people were killed innocently. The world does not even care. We have to care about these events, brothers and sisters. And we have to be active, at least on social media. Believe me, it's not that costly. It just requires some care, some focused efforts, and we can make a difference. Let's be creative, choose an image that represents your campaign, and work on it. How many of you remember that little kid, Aylan Kurdi, who died on the shores of Turkey? Remember that Syrian kid? He became a symbol in the media worldwide. One small picture changed the equations. After that, Germany found itself accepting hundreds of thousands of immigrants who were fleeing war and persecution. And that small image really did change many equations. See, that's the power of the media. Let's be creative, develop an image, develop a logo, a slogan, and work on it. On Facebook, on Twitter, everywhere you can. Don't say this does not have an impact. It does have an impact. It has a huge impact. These billboards that sometimes we see and we're so proud of. Just a few days ago, I saw an image of a billboard in Chicago about hijab. Hijab means freedom. It means honesty. It means strength. That's beautiful. Americans don't know this. Hijab to them is synonymous with oppression, with misogynist ideas. They don't know this. But once they see this, that here you have Muslims in America who have the freedom to speak their minds, and they're telling us that this gives them freedom. If they keep seeing this over and over again, they will change their views. Google AdWords, that's another example. Because people, when they search Islam, Muslims, terrorists, what's coming up on the first pages? You know, you think they're going to go to page 20, 30, 50, and 100? No. It's not that costly. It does require that we dedicate some resources. But this is how we protect our future, brothers and sisters. This is the lesson that we learned from Lady Zaynab alayhi salam. Therefore, as students, as professionals, whatever our background is, let's make a commitment with our Lord. Let's get together, be creative, see how we could use these tools in order to dispel a lot of these misconceptions that the religion of Islam is a violent religion. What is the real threat in America? People don't know. Let's educate ourselves first, and let's educate others, and seek the inspiration from Zaynab alayhi salam. A woman who had nothing. She did not have a political party. She had no brothers, no men to protect her. But she had the power of truth and the power of words. That was her media. And she exposed the greatest tyrant of her time. That's a great lesson for us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open our hearts for His guidance so that we can advance His cause. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, الَّذِينَ يُبَلِّغُونَ رِسَالَاتِ اللَّهِ وَيَخْشَوْنَهُ وَلَا يَخْشَوْنَ أَحَدًا إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Those who convey the message of God, and they are only concerned about Allah. They only fear God. They don't fear anyone else. These are the true believers. These are the descriptions of the true believers. Allahumma اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات تابع اللهم بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك قاضي الحاجات إنك على كل شيء قدير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
حب الحبيب محمد صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.